Like and subscribe on the way, in the door. My people, heavy on the like, heavy on the subscribe. As a matter of fact, whenever I'm watching some of my favorite content creators, whether it be Angry Old Hoops or Too Raw for Sports or Phenomenal Fitness now, Sports and Fitness Rants, Scap Attack, Uncut Hoops. Whenever I click on any of their videos, the first thing I do is hit the like button to make sure that these videos are getting out there and so that we can get the truth out to people. We're not worried about the fanboys because we realize you guys are forever lost in delusion. And with that being said, fanboys, you might want to click off. You might want to click off this video. It's not going to be good for you. So, you see the title of the video. Today, we're going to talk about how LeBron James destroyed the competitiveness in the NBA. And what I think is the event that actually did it was the decision. So we're going to talk about this. But first of all, let me start off. LeBron James came into the NBA, 2003? And he came in and he was explosive. Like I said, a lot of people who watched his channel were either fans of LeBron James at one point or at the very least indifferent to LeBron and hopeful for what he could be. But LeBron was an explosive player. And it was definitely sometimes watching him where he brought that excitement that led you to believe that the possibility for real greatness is there. Matter of fact, I have said on this channel, and I still believe that had LeBron had the mentality of Michael Jordan, we would be calling him the definitive GOAT for a lot of reasons. I think he definitely would have came much more closer in terms of impact, but especially considering the era that he came up playing in. I feel like LeBron James, if he had Michael Jordan's mentality, he would have had 10 championships. The same way that I believe that Michael Jordan in today's age he probably would have passed Bill Russell. So yeah, to me, LeBron James, he had that. Now, if you follow his career, the things that we can't stand about him now were always there from the beginning. They just weren't as noticeable or prevalent. But they were there. If you start looking at a lot of the losses LeBron James had, whether it be the 2007 finals, whether it be the loss to the Magic, some of these different losses, what you will recognize that the thing that comes up, which I say on this channel over and over again, is the inconsistency of LeBron James. Now, LeBron James happens to be talented, much more potential than your average all-star or superstar. I said talented and potential. However, he is much more inconsistent, and that is why he has not succeeded in the way that he has. Again, to me, what separates each superstar is the level of consistency that they're able to deliver these great performances. Shout out to At The Disease Is The Cure. He made a comment on my last video earlier today that fanboys think he's the greatest but are constantly in shock when he actually does something great. I can't believe the blah, blah, blah. It's amazing that he can still blah, blah, blah. And exactly, and I tell you why this is. Because this is a direct result of the inconsistency of LeBron James. And everybody buckle up, because this video is probably going to get kind of long. The inconsistency of LeBron James, it makes you think back to Michael Jordan. We expected Michael Jordan to do something great every single night. We expected that. When he didn't, it was a letdown because it felt like more times than not, he delivered. So that's what we came to expect. With LeBron James, this is not what's expected. As a matter of fact, I dare say there was never a time in his career where it was expected. There was never a time in his career where people were like, well, if LeBron James is on the team, they are probably going to win. If LeBron James is on the team, he's probably going to find a way. It is always how great LeBron is, but for this reason and that reason, he just can't get it done. That should be odd to anyone listening. That should be an odd combination of things to have to group together, is that this guy is so great, but he never has enough help. He never has the right coach. This should be odd. Again, because if you think back to Michael Jordan, like I said, we expected the greatness from Michael Jordan every single night. That's what we came to expect. And more times than not, he delivered. And again, so like I said, when it comes to superstars, or really anybody in life, it's what separates the role players from the all-stars from the superstars, is the level of consistency to which you can deliver great performances, to which you can impose your will on the game in a positive way. So this brings us to, like I was saying, those things that we can't stand about LeBron now, they were always there. But this brings us to the decision. And the thing that I absolutely believe was like the definitive moment that competitiveness in the NBA was destroyed.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Why?
Like I said before, I feel like it's going to give me the best opportunity to win, and to win for multiple years. And not only just to win in the regular season, or just to win 5 games in a row or 3 games in a row. I want to be able to win championships, and I feel like I can compete down there. I'm looking forward to it. To say it was always in my plans, I can't say it was always in my plans, because I never thought it was possible. But the things that the Miami Heat franchise have done to be able to free up cap space and to be able to put themselves in a position this summer to have all 3 of us, it was hard to turn down. I mean, those are 2 great players, 2 of the greatest players that we have in this game today. And, you add me, we're going to be a really good team.
How do you explain this to the people in Cleveland?
I mean, it's heartfelt for me. It's hard to explain, but at the same time, my heart in the 7 years that I've gave to that franchise, to that city, it was everything. I mean, those 20,000 plus fans that came out every night we played, and they seen me grow from an 18-year-old kid to a 25-year-old man. And I never wanted to leave Cleveland. And my heart will always be around that area. But I also feel like this is the the greatest challenge for me is to move on.
So let's talk about some of the things he said in this clip. First of all, let's talk about the fact that overall, you would have to look at the whole Miami thing as a failure. Now, mind you, in this clip, he says it's a chance to win multiple championships. And then, of course, we all know about the not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And he only comes up with 2 championships from Miami. But something else he said. Fanboys, pay attention. He said a chance to play with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, 2 of the best players in the league today. And then you add myself. And some of you fanboys want to talk about this is not a super team. First of all, here we go. Let's see here. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. So, like I said, to me, this is the move that definitively destroyed the competition in the NBA for so many reasons. First of all, let's talk about this. It destroyed the competition because LeBron was having so much praise and being promoted as the face of the NBA or the up and coming face of the NBA. He hadn't won any championships yet, but we all know that LeBron's chosen one thing is not because he put in the work to be that guy. It's because he was actually chosen to be the face of the NBA, and the NBA has given him every advantage by the NBA possible to make him who he is today, which is still not the GOAT. But yeah, so LeBron being the face of the NBA, being the person they're promoting as the next person after Kobe. Fanboys, don't forget that. Kobe was before LeBron. By him making a move like this set the precedent for everyone else that it was cool to make moves like this. As a matter of fact, if you're being honest, a lot of people who say Kevin Durant's move was worse than LeBron's, and I agree with that, but I also agree that at the same time, maybe it felt necessary. Maybe it felt like, well, if I'm going to have to go up with LeBron with 3 superstars on the team, I should have a team that can match that. But again, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you look at LeBron's leaving Cleveland or Kevin Durant leaving Oklahoma, what you have to agree is that they thought to themselves, I can't just get better myself and overcome this. They thought to themselves that I can't work harder than I am right now and overcome this. Because this was the mentality of Michael Jordan, is that no matter what, I can overcome it. I just have to work harder. I just have to put in more work, whether that's on my game or on my leadership. But they didn't think like this. So yeah, it destroyed the competitiveness in the game because LeBron was the face of the league. So it made that okay for a lot of people. It made that okay for younger kids coming up watching LeBron. And, we're going to see more of this. I don't know if this is ever going to get turned around. You know, a lot of people think once LeBron leaves, it may get turned around, but I'm not so sure about that. And especially as long as Commissioner Voldemort is still commissioner. You know, if those two get gone, then maybe. But another reason it destroyed the level of competition is because in opening that door, it made for a very lopsided league. A lot of people started doing this, and we just saw a lot of teams that had more superstars than they should, and then there was some teams that completely didn't have a chance at all. And then going back to this whole thing again, where him saying Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were 2 of the best players in the league today. That just sounds so wrong to want to go join them. Again, as a superstar, your competition is the other superstars in the league. You're not competing against the role players. I mean, yeah, from the team concept, but as far as proving your worth, improving your dominance, and building your legacy, you are building it against other superstars. So how, fanboys, please explain to me. Not like seriously, like before you call me a hater, you can call me a hater. I'll take that because you can't do it to my face. But before you call me a hater, take a moment and explain to me how that makes sense for, again, if you're a superstar, your competition is the other superstars. How does that make sense to go want to join them when that is your direct competition? The other superstars in the league is your direct competition. That is who you're proving yourself against. That is who you're building your legacy against. But you want to go join them? Make that make sense. Somebody, one of the many fanboys who get in my comments with the same old crap, please give me an explanation. Just one of you. And then last but not least, he talks about how it's one of his biggest challenges to leave Cleveland. To leave Cleveland and go join two of the best players in the league by his own words. That is one of your biggest challenges? Explain it to me. That sounds like the opposite of a challenge. That sounds like you are taking the shortcut. And speaking of shortcuts and challenges, another aspect of why the NBA is not competitive and why the decision helped usher that in. Because it was actually avoiding the challenge. The challenge is staying where you are, working on yourself and finding a way to overcome. That is the challenge. And here we go. Fanboys, sit down. For those of us who competed in anything when we were young, it could have been track, could have been football, could have been basketball, but I guess it's probably more sports that I'm thinking about where it's more of a one-on-one or you have more one-on-one opportunities. For anybody, or maybe I should say where your individual performance weighs more heavily than a team perspective. So whether you're playing one-on-one basketball or, you're having a race against somebody, for anybody who competed in that way when they were younger, competition is the challenge. That's what it is. And you guys let me know if you agree with this. Like, okay, let's just take basketball. Let's say you were a one-on-one player and you were good, and there's always this person who wants to challenge you that is not on your level. But they want to be able to beat you one day. They know that the only way to beat you is to continuously play you so that they can get better. But at the current moment, they are not on your level. And for you, you don't like playing. Why? Because it's not a challenge. Like you may tell them, go work on your game, come back to me. Or you might say, okay, well, we're playing to 11 by ones. I'll spot you 6 points. I'll spot you 6 points. Why are you doing that? For 2 reasons. Because you want to show this person that, hey, I can spot you 6 points and still beat you. And the second reason is to actually make it more challenging. You do not want to play somebody who you can obliterate in a one-on-one. In any game, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're racing. If you're racing against somebody, someone who wants to prove they're faster than you, but it's like, man, come on now. You're nowhere near as fast as me. So what do? You're like, okay, we racing 100-yard dash. I give you a 20-yard head start. Why do you do that? To increase the challenge. People who are competitive do not like to have easy wins. Like, we like to find a way to make it more challenging because that is the competition. It's proving that you can overcome. It is actually proving your dominance against someone who's supposed to be in the same realm as you are. Not someone who's, it's like Mike Tyson fighting Floyd Mayweather. They're not in the same weight class. Why would Tyson want to fight Floyd Mayweather? It wouldn't be a challenge. And this is the thing with competition. And this is the thing with the decision, is that it eradicated players wanting to be challenged. LeBron James, you're talking about, that's one of the biggest challenges leaving Cleveland. Well, surely you weren't talking about on the basketball court. Because that's one of the most unchallenging things you could do, is run to Miami. But the decision, like I said, the decision changed the landscape of the NBA. However, again, when we're talking about someone like LeBron James, we cannot talk about it like the decision was an event that changed the landscape of the NBA. But LeBron James was always like this. This is where we have to step into reality. That no matter what we wanted to believe about LeBron James in the beginning, he didn't change over the years. He just exposed more of who he actually was. But then when you go back and look, he was already like that. So let's talk about the pressure that LeBron James had. The pressure that every fanboy and every mainstream media likes to bring up over and over again has brought it up since he came into the league and still bring it up to this day. When I watch interviews about LeBron James and about why he is so great, potentially why some people think he's the fake GOAT, they always bring up, no player has come in with more pressure than LeBron James. First of all, pressure is perception. What one person thinks is pressure, another person sees it in a totally different light. Case in point, LeBron James and Michael Jordan. The thing that I really, again, you can really get a lot from listening to Michael Jordan's talk. The thing that, how they differ and how they handle pressure is Michael Jordan saw people doubting him as alleviating the pressure. He saw people who had low expectations of him as alleviating the pressure. People who didn't think he was going to succeed. Case in point, the Cleveland series. He talked about in that series, where he hit the shot, that people were expecting us to do bad. So that took away all the pressure. Not to mention that Jordan just had a mentality that he had to prove himself all the time. Michael Jordan didn't come in. And again, Michael Jordan came into the league with people already saying that he was the best basketball player they've ever seen. So Michael Jordan came in with that. But the difference is Michael Jordan came in and said, hey, I have to prove myself. LeBron James did not. As a matter of fact, first of all, people keep talking about the amount of pressure that LeBron James, but fanboys, how do you deal with this? That LeBron James has repeated over and over that it was no pressure. He was saying it when he was young, and he said it throughout his career. Oh, there's no pressure. LeBron James never wants to admit to anything. When he lost in 2011, and I think it was the same interview that led to him, telling people to go back to their miserable little lives. That interview, fanboys? They asked him something like to the effect that, did the pressure get to him? And no, it wasn't the pressure. It just, I just didn't deliver or whatever excuses he had. But he did not want to admit that the pressure got to him. So while you fanboys and media people are constantly talking about the amount of pressure that this guy had, remember, LeBron James said it was no pressure. He said it over and over again. But to me, this just plays right along into LeBron James' character of this guy has a problem telling the truth. He has a problem telling the truth. And I would say this. For those who keep talking about him having so much pressure, LeBron James came into the NBA with a $100 million contract. That doesn't sound like very much pressure to me. That sounds like, you know what? I got this contract no matter how I do. I got enough money to live the rest of my life. Comfortably. Well above comfortably. LeBron James came in with a $100 million contract. So if he had the proper perspective, of, look, I just got to come in here and prove myself, instead of coming in as the chosen one.
When did you get the chosen one tattoo?
I got that after my rookie year in the NBA.
So it wasn't in high school?
No, but it was a magazine, a local magazine, my sophomore year actually used that on one of the clippings after one of my games. They was like, "Is this kid the chosen one?" You know, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I mean, I don't know if I am, but it sounds cool.
Yep. The chosen one, and you get that tattooed on your back. Now, you said, I thought that was pretty cool. Only a person who needs praise as much as LeBron James would get that tattooed on themselves. You know, the guy who praise makes him uncomfortable. Only a person who needs praise. I mean, think about this. This is kind of the equivalent of, what if they had called you God in that article? Would you have then got God tattooed on your back? I mean, it's a totally ridiculous thing. But what it is embracing this praise. It is accepting the praise before you have proven a thing. And then you continue to want more praise before you have proven a thing. And this is what happened when you put the cart before the horse. This is what happens. Everything becomes backwards when you started off backwards. This is the problem. This is what Michael Jordan said. I think it was an interview with Oprah Winfrey, where he's talking about, you start giving these players these big contracts before they've proven a thing. That's backwards. So once you do that, everything else from that point becomes backwards. You've given him the money before he's proven a thing. You've given him the praise before he's proven a thing. And so now this is how his career starts. So he continuously wants this backwards dynamic. He continuously wants the praise before he's proven he's as worthy of the praise that he wants. Again, because, I mean, on paper, LeBron James has done some great things in his career on paper. He has the 4 championships on paper. But again, when you start breaking down how he has those 4 championships, well, then that's when everything goes down the drain. And now he wants some ridiculous contract from the Lakers, which I sincerely hope that the Lakers are not going to do that to themselves. I mean, haven't the Lakers done enough to themselves, the Lakers organization? But yeah, when you start a player off like that, doing things backwards, giving him the money and praise before he's proved the thing, that's how his career continues. That's why we see all these players today who are really overrated. The whole league is overrated, right? They keep telling us that this league is more skilled and more athletic without mentioning how they've made things so much easier. That should be the main headline. They should be saying that before they talk about the league appearing more skilled and more athletic. The first thing they should say, well, we have to consider how much easier it is to score. Before they're praising all these 50, 60, and 70-point games that we're seeing in the last 2-3 years, the first thing they need to address is say, hey, it is much easier to score. That is why we're saying, like, these things don't mean as much as they used to. This is what they should be saying, but this is not. And again, like I said, to me, this is the lack of competitiveness that LeBron James, the face of entitlement, has brought into the NBA today. And the last thing I'm going to say, addressing the whole BALCO thing, that with all of this, with all of the help that the NBA has given the chosen one, last but not least, it looks like they're helping to keep this situation quiet. Now, again, there is no definitive proof. And I'm the kind of person, I always leave room for the exception. In other words, I am always aware of the exception. Like, I never say anything concrete because I do realize that exceptions exist. Like, again, you might say, okay, normally if a person is exhibiting these patterns, it means this. And maybe 90% of the time, 95% of the time, 99% of the time, it does mean this certain thing. But, 1%, if it's even 1% of the time, it could be an exception. To me, you have to be aware of that. So I'm not going to sit here and definitively say that LeBron James is juicing. But I will definitively say all signs point to that being the case. And I tend to believe that it is true, And why do I tend to believe that is true? Because of what we talk about on this channel all the time. That's patterns, people. Now, to me, LeBron James has established himself as a man willing to take as many shortcuts as he can get his hands on. He's willing to do that. So why would it be far-fetched? Why would it be hard to believe that a man who left Cleveland to make it easier on himself, that a man who flops to try to get calls that didn't happen, that a man who has gotten so used to traveling and carrying because the refs never call it on him, that he seems to not try to make any attempt to not do it. I mean, it seems like he does it every single game. This should be a problem. Fanboys, explain that one. Any one of you. Please, I'm waiting. But before you call me a hater for this, please just get in the comments and explain why this has become an acceptable action for LeBron James to do it over and over again, and the refs not calling it is not an excuse. Because if you are practicing your game the right way, this just should be something that is not a pattern for you. So explain it to me, fanboys. Just take a moment, before you get emotional, before you start crying, before you start whining, before you start saying, I cannot believe you want to attack a guy who's a great family man and he's a millionaire and blah, blah, blah. Before you say all of that and you're just a hater, before you say that, please just give me an answer to the question I just asked you. That would be nice. So how is it hard for me to believe that a guy willing to take all these shortcuts, that a guy who came on the decision and said, hey, I'm going to play with two of the best players in the NBA today. How is it hard to believe that a guy who went into that situation saying multiple championships are possible and not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but seven, not seven, and then leaves the minute turmoil strikes, leaves the minute D-Wade starts to take a decline and goes back to Cleveland and then leaves Cleveland. And now he's a Laker. But now that he's a Laker, nothing has changed since he's been a Laker. Every year, every single year since LeBron James has been a Laker, at some point in the season, it talks about trades and coaches. So why is it hard to believe that a guy like that would be on that BALCO, that new juice, as Kevin Garnett said? This is not a far-fetched idea. And fanboys, I think deep in your heart, you guys have a level of denial that cannot be broken. Because again, we all understand that if that ever comes out confirmed, your whole world will burn. And we will all get popcorn and watch it like a movie, gladly. And I will be laughing. Anyway, we're going to hold up here. This is a long video, but, like I said, LeBron James has destroyed the competitiveness in the league. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that the decision was the event that started the ball rolling for the disintegration of competition in basketball as we know it. Let me know what you guys think. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. All right.